pop artists love professional wrestling. Every pop artist I've actually met had either a series of works about wrestling or actively watched wrestling. In fact, I was involved around a conversation with Robert Rauschenberg where he said, some things are in the zeitgeist, but some require special attention. If Andy did a silkscreen of Hulk Hogan, that'd be one thing. But if I did a painting of Pac Song attacking Dusty Rhodes, well, that would require deep attention. I find that idea great, and you'll find lots of wrestling imagery throughout pop art. And one that I discovered recently that had me do a bunch of research was Ed Paschke's Mid-America. And it is an image of a wrestler wearing a robe, but his face is painted, and it's painted like the usual leather overlay that is on a professional wrestling mask, but the mask itself is gone, so it kind of looks like face paint, as we would know in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, though wasn't as prevalent in the 60s when this was made. There's also a series of catcher's mitts on the side and two of Paschke's sort of trademark wingtip shoes. What's incredible is how prescient this work is of the entire movement of lucha libre-inspired art that we saw in the late 20th and early 21st century. It's most epitomized by the work of the zine from Parts Unknown. Literally, you could show me this and I would think this was made 2 or 3 years ago, but it was 1969. It's a remarkable work. It's clearly referencing sport. The vibrancy of the colors definitely screams of mural work. But what I find fascinating is trying to figure out who that wrestler is. Because it's clearly modeled on a promotional image of a wrestler. And I sort of had 3 names that popped up. Pat O'Connor, world champion, 1950s, very, very impressive. I believe the first New Zealandish world champion. It kind of looked like a thicker version of Vern Gagne. And there is an image with Gagne in a robe that, not dissimilar. The face paint would make it look different enough that it would be difficult to notice, and I would notice Vern Gagne at a distance. The other one was Danny Hodge, but that one's sort of an outside shot, though there is a couple of pictures of him wearing a belt that is very similar to the one here and a robe. So I'll never know. Sadly, Paschke passed away a little bit ago. But the use of wrestling in pop art, much like Bobby Roush said, it's something that requires attention if you're going to dig deep. What's interesting is Paschke doesn't require you to dig deep. He just requires you to understand what a wrestler stands for. Strength. Solidness. And then places it in this beautiful aesthetic.